Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur
चलेगा
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Shila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Shila Prabhupada.
Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Shila Gurudeva.
Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva.
Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Prajapacharya Stotra Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhansa Pariprajapacharya Stotra Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Chamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna devotees, just a humble request on behalf of Maharaj, if you can please turn on your videos so that it can be more personal. Humble request, please everyone. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Maharaj. Over to you.
So we shall be speaking about the auspicious occasion of Gita Jayanti. Gita Jayanti is the day on which Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad-Gita to Arjuna. The Gita is also known as the Gita Upanishad and is considered one of the Upanishads. The title Bhagavad-Gita is sometimes translated as the Song of God. Gita means song, and God, Krishna, is so sublime that whatever he speaks is music and poetry. The word Bhagavan has been analyzed by Vedic authorities. Bhaga means opulence and is related to the word bhagya, good fortune. And Van means one who possesses. So Bhagavan means he who possesses all opulence in full. As stated in the Vishnu Purana, Aishwarasya samagrasya viryasya yasasa shriya jnana vairagyas chaiva sanambhaga itingana. Full wealth, strength, fame, beauty, knowledge, and renunciation. These are the 6 opulences of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All of us possess some wealth. I may have $10, but if I look further, I will find someone who has $100. And if I look still further, I will find someone who has $1,000 and $1 million and $1 billion. But no one can say that he has all the wealth in all creation, that no one is equal to him or greater than him in wealth. So when we come to that person who has all wealth, no one is equal to or greater than him, that is Bhagavan, Krishna. The Bhagavad-Gita was originally spoken by Krishna to Arjuna. As stated in the Gita 4.1, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha imam vivashvate yogam proktavan ahamavyayam vivashwan manave praha manar ikshvakabe bravit. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivashwan. Vivashwan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku. So Lord Krishna originally spoke the Gita to Vivashwan, the sun god, who spoke it to his son Manu, who in turn spoke it to Ikshvaku. In this way, the knowledge was passed on through disciplic succession from one to the next to the next. But in the course of time, that chain became broken. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo vidu sa kalenea mahata yogo nashta parantapa. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. Gita 4.2. Nashta means spoiled. You may have a nice place of prasad, But if you leave it aside and it becomes old and contaminated, it becomes nashta, spoiled. It is food, but you don't get the benefit. And to get the real benefit of the Bhagavad-Gita, one must receive it through parampara. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshyo vidu. 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna detected that the chain was broken and that consequently the knowledge was lost. So he came again and spoke the Bhagavad-Gita again to Arjuna. Now, Arjuna, you become the first recipient of this knowledge in the new chain, so that the knowledge is received and presented as it is. Srila Prabhupada called his translation of the Gita, the Bhagavad-Gita as it is. As it is means as Krishna spoke it and as Arjuna understood it 5,000 years ago. How did Arjuna understand it? First, he accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Arjuna Vacha Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Sasvatam Devyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. Gita 10:12. Further, Arjuna accepted everything that Krishna said as true. Sarvam etadrite manye yanmam bhadasi keshava. Krishna, I accept as truth all that you have told me. That's Gita 10:14. I accept whatever you say in toto. He did not discriminate that he liked some parts of the Gita, but not other parts. Sarvam etad ritam manye. I accept in toto everything that you have said. If we begin to discriminate, I like this portion, but I don't like that portion, we become implicated in Ardha Kukuti Nyaya, half-hen logic. A farmer had a hen that was laying eggs, but the farmer thought that only the hind portion was valuable because that part was giving eggs, and that the neck portion was simply troublesome because it just ate food. So he concluded, I will cut the neck portion, which is just a botheration, and keep the hind portion, which gives eggs. And when he did, of course, the hen died and there were no more eggs. One verse in the Bhagavad-Gita that is very popular among some people states, Karmanye vadikaraste. You are entitled to do your work. They think, I can do my work. I can make and spend money. I can take care of my family, live with my family, enjoy with my family and friends. That is a precious instruction. But when they come to Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Braja, give up all varieties of duties and just surrender to Krishna, that is a little troublesome, and they want to cut that part. We don't really need it. We'll just keep the valuable part. I can do my work. In order to get the full benefit of the Bhagavad-Gita, it is essential to accept it as it is. Devotees who have accepted it as it is and applied its principles in their lives have undergone extraordinary transformations. This knowledge can really help people. And any genuine person who gets something good will naturally want to share it with others. Anyone who has imbibed the nectar of the Bhagavad-Gita, gotten the benefit of the Bhagavad-Gita, will want to share the knowledge with others. It is natural. If you are eating a nice place of prasad and taste something really good, it is natural to say, you should try this. It's really good. Or you should try this with this. It's a really good combination. Anyone, any child will do that. So when you actually experience the benefit of the Bhagavad Gita in your life, you'll naturally want to share the knowledge with others so they too can benefit and become happy. Now, why did Krishna choose Arjuna to be the first student of the Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna was not a sannyasi. He was a married man. He was not a Brahmin. He was a warrior. Why Arjuna? Krishna explains, Sa evayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratana bhaktosi me sakha cheti rahasyam yetad uttabam. That very science, that very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you because you are my devotee as well as my friend and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of the science. Gita 4:3. The main qualification for understanding the Gita is bhaktosime, to be Lord Krishna's devotee. And later, Krishna says that one should hear the Gita with faith and without envy. Shadavan anasuyascha shrunuyad apiyonara. Gita 1871. This is a most important point. To get the true benefit of the Gita, one must be a devotee. What does it mean to be a devotee? Sometimes the word devotee is used quite broadly. To begin, let us understand devotee in contrast to karmi, jnani, and yogi. These are all technical as well as general terms. A karmi engages in fruitive work. He works for personal gain. I have worked and earned, now I have the right to enjoy the fruit. That is 90% of the world. People work and they feel, I have earned money, so I have the right to spend it. Someone needs to mute themselves. So, coming back to the point of devotee, that to get the true benefit of the Gita, one must be a devotee. So what does it mean to be a devotee? A karmi engages in fruitive work. He works for personal gain. I've worked and earned, now I have the right to enjoy the fruit. That is 90% of the population. People work and they feel I've earned the money, so I have the right to spend it on myself, on my family, on my community, on my country, or whatever limited or extended concept of sense gratification they have. But the Gita says, no, karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. You have a right to perform your work, your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits. Gita 2:47. The fruits belong to Krishna. If you invite a carpenter to your home and give him wood and nails and glue, everything he needs, and say, I want you to build me a cabinet, in the end, to whom does the cabinet belong? To the carpenter or to you? It belongs to the proprietor, not to the worker. The worker has assembled the ingredients supplied by the proprietor, but that doesn't make him the owner. The entire material creation, this entire cosmic manifestation, the elements are provided by Krishna. The earth we tread, the water we drink, the air we breathe, the fire or electricity we use, everything belongs to him, and we cannot rightly claim any of it for ourselves. You may assemble the elements in different ways, but it all belongs to him and is meant to be used for his purposes. A karmi engages in work and wants to keep the fruits for himself. A karma yogi engages in work, but gives the fruits to Krishna. A man may grow a tree that produces fruit. A karmi will keep the fruit for himself, whereas a karma yogi will give the fruit, or some of the fruit, to Krishna. The sakam karma yogi has selfish desires, but he still gives something to Krishna. If the tree produces 100 mangoes, he may give 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 to Krishna. And as he becomes purified, as he develops more faith and becomes more attached to Krishna, he will give more to Krishna. And eventually he may give all 100 mangoes to Krishna without any selfish desire. Nishkam Karma Yoga. But he will not be the loser. Krishna will give him his prasad, his mercy. The Gyanis, and often the yogis, are impersonalists. They believe that God is ultimately impersonal, nameless, formless, without qualities, without activities. They may even go so far as to think that Krishna's form is material, that just as we have a physical body made of flesh and bones and blood, so does Krishna. And according to them, if Krishna is material, then his name, form, qualities, and activities are also all material. People may chant his name, but ultimately they have to go beyond that. People may worship his form, but they have to go beyond that. People may talk about his qualities and activities, but they have to go beyond that. Ultimately, according to them, we have to go beyond all these illusory forms and names and come to the all-pervading impersonal light and merge and become one with it. Then there is no you, no me, no Krishna, nothing, just oneness. In theory, that is also a possibility, but it is very rare to achieve that state and very difficult. Lord Krishna explains in the Bhagavad-Gita 12:2-7, those who fix their minds on my personal form and are always engaged in worshiping me with great and transcendental faith are considered by me to be most perfect. But those who worship the unmanifested, that which lies beyond the perception of the senses, the all-pervading, inconceivable, unchanging, fixed and immovable. The impersonal conception of the absolute truth. By controlling the various senses and being equally disposed to everyone, such persons engaged in the welfare of all at last achieve me. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal feature of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in that discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. But those who worship me, giving up all their activities unto me and being devoted to me without deviation, engaged in devotional service and always meditating on me, having their minds fixed upon me, O son of Pritha, for them I am the swift deliverer. I am the swift deliverer from the ocean of birth and death. So not only is the impersonal path difficult, but the result is also not very satisfying, because ultimately everyone wants happiness and love. The two most basic human needs are to love and be loved. We want friends, we want family, we want community, and we are not happy without them. If you were a billionaire but could never see another living being, would you be happy? No. You would be so desperate for company, for relationship, that you would say, I don't want this wealth. I just want to be with people I love and who love me. In a way, this was Arjuna's thinking at the beginning of the Bhagavad-Gita. He considered, what is the use of winning a kingdom if in the course of the battle all my friends and family die? What is the use? With whom will I enjoy my kingdom? The thought of being without family and friends so overwhelmed Arjuna that he said to Krishna, I can find no means to drive away this grief which is drying up my senses. I will not be able to dispel it even if I win a prosperous, unrivaled kingdom on earth with sovereignty like that of the demigods in heaven. Gita 2:8. There's much truth to what Arjuna said at the beginning of the Gita, but that truth is on a lower level. By the mercy of Lord Krishna, after hearing the Bhagavad-Gita, Arjuna was elevated to a higher, better understanding. He realized that perfect happiness and love were to be realized in relation to Krishna. And so Arjuna surrendered unto him. Krishna gave Arjuna the choice. Krishna did not force him, because true surrender or pure love or true love is voluntary. Krishna gave Arjuna the freedom to deliberate and then decide. Iti te jnanam akyatam guyad guyataram maya yam shriyai tad asesna yatejasi tatakuru. Thus I have explained to you knowledge more still confidential. Deliberate on this fully and then do what you wish to do. Gita 1863. Yatechasu tatakuru. You can do whatever you like. We have all been given free will by God, but after hearing the Bhagavad-Gita, Arjuna immediately responded, Karishye vachanam tava. I will do whatever you say. This is the position of the surrendered devotee. Arjuna vacha Nashtamoha smriti labda tvat prasadan mayakchuta stitosmi gata sandeha kardishe vachanam tava. Arjuna said, my dear Krishna, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone. I've regained my memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt and am prepared to act according to your instructions. Gita 1873. Now we may become a little worried. We are back to that troublesome sloka, Sarvadharman Parityaja Maimekam Sharanam Vraja. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. And we may wonder, what are the implications of Kardishye Vachanam Tava? I'm prepared to act according to your instructions. What if Krishna tells me to give up my wife, my children, my business, my home? Then what? That is a problematic question. And some people may not want to pursue the course of surrender to Krishna because they are afraid of the consequences. But there is some leniency here, some considerateness. Lord Krishna gives us a gradual process to come to the stage of surrender, because surrender is based on faith. When we have faith in someone or something, we can surrender. And if we don't have faith, we won't surrender. In this present age of Kali, faith is very rare. It is very difficult to come by genuine faith. The society is materialistic, and everyone is cultured in the idea that they're independent, free to think and do whatever they like, without restriction. In fact, they are envious. Material life means envy. First of Krishna. People think, why should I surrender to him? I'm also intelligent. I also know things. I can also speak and argue. Why should I surrender? And people find fault with Krishna. Why did he tell Arjuna to fight? Why did he cause so many people to die? In particular, people who are envious find fault with Krishna. They can never understand the Bhagavad-Gita. Therefore, Krishna says, idam te natapaksaya na bhaktasya kadachana na chasu shurave vachyam na chamam yogyavuyasi. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. Gita 1867. One must be a devotee, a bhakta. Only devotees are without envy. Still, like a loving father, Krishna wants to bring all his sons and daughters to the highest perfection, even though he knows that it may take some time. A parent will want his child to grow to be strong and healthy and happy and intelligent and competent, and to take over the family's business. A genuine loving parent will want to give everything to the child, but the parent first wants to see that the child is responsible enough. As I grew up, my father gave me a weekly allowance. My first allowance was 5 or 10 cents. I was just a child and he wasn't sure how I would use the money. Eventually, he raised my allowance to 25 cents. I felt so proud. My father really trusts me. 25 cents was quite a good amount for me then. So parents want to give to their children, but they also want to see that their children are responsible enough to take care of what they give them. In a similar way, Krishna wants to give us everything, even himself, but he wants to see that we are qualified. Another analogy is a teacher in a classroom. The study of math begins with 1 + 1 = 2. There is much more, but the students proceed step by step. Addition, then subtraction, then multiplication, then division. So many processes they have to learn. In the Bhagavad-Gita, the first instruction is that you are not the body, but the soul within the body. That is the beginning. And if we understand even one line of the Bhagavad-Gita from the very beginning, our lives will change. Dehi nosmin yata dehe komaram yovanam jara tata deyantara praptir tiras tachanamuyate. As the embodied soul continually passes in this body from boyhood to youth to old age, the soul similarly passes into another body at death. A sober person is not bewildered by such a change. Gita 2:13. If we just understand that we are not the body, but are the Atma, the Jivatma within the body, that alone is enough to change our whole life. Srila Prabhupada gives the example that in performing a mathematical calculation, if you make a mistake in the first step, then even if you perform all the other steps correctly, you may end up getting further and further from the solution. So in the same way, if we make a mistake in the first step and identify ourselves with the body and not the soul, then if we do everything perfectly for the sake of the body, we'll end up further and further from the actual solution, the actual happiness and satisfaction that we desire. If we understand just this one point from the very beginning of the Bhagavad-Gita, our entire life will change. We will work for the benefit of the soul, which is our actual self, and is part and parcel of the Supreme Self, God, Krishna, knowing that our real relationship is with him, not with the body. And then gradually, step by step, we will come to the conclusion of the Bhagavad-Gita. Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskaru mam evaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage unto me. Thus you will come to me without fail. I promise you this, because you are my very dear friend. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja tvam sarva papebhyo mokshasyami ma suchaha. Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. Manmana, always think of Krishna. If you do that, you will naturally become a devotee of Krishna, Madbhakto. You will worship him, Madhyaji, and offer obeisance unto him, Mam Namaskaru. It is so simple. The critical point is Manmana, to always think of Krishna And how can we always think of him? In the 9th chapter of the Gita, Krishna says, Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dritavrataha namasyantascha mam bhaktya dityayukta upashyate. Always chanting my glories, endeavoring with great determination, bowing down before me, these great souls perpetually worship me with devotion. Gita 9:14. Satatam kirtayanto mam. If we always, satatam, engage in glorifying Krishna, chanting his holy name, kirtan, we will always think of him. We are Hare Krishna devotees, and we are speaking about the Bhagavad-Gita. What is the connection? The chanting of Hare Krishna is the real way to follow the instructions of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad-Gita. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, the incarnation of Krishna for the present age of Kali, who inaugurated the Hare Krishna movement 500 years ago, taught Kirtaniya Sadahari. Always chant the holy name of Hare Krishna. In the Bhagavad-Gita, Sri Krishna gives the same instruction. Satatam kirtayanto mam. Always engage in kirtan, chanting the holy name of Krishna. So the chanting of Hare Krishna is really the fulfillment of Lord Krishna's ultimate instruction in the Bhagavad-Gita, Manmanao. Always think of Krishna. And chanting is the best and easiest way to think of him. So I am grateful to all of you for having come to hear about Gita Jayanti. And as Srila Prabhupada's guru instructed him to preach the message of the Gita in English all over the world, telling him, this will do much good for you as well as for your audience. And so it is a win-win-win. It will be beneficial for you. It will be beneficial for the people in general. And ultimately, Krishna will be pleased. And that is our goal. That is what bhakti means, to please Krishna. When Krishna is pleased, our life is successful, and we are naturally satisfied and pleased. So, thank you very much. And now, if we have time, our participants can ask questions or make comments, share reflections. If you wish to ask a question or share a reflection, please raise your hand, your physical hand or your virtual hand. Yes, Nitya Gopal Krishna Das.
Yes. Hare Krishna Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you so much for the wonderful class, Maharaj. It was such an amazing explanation of the verses of Bhagavad-Gita. Maharaj, I just had one question regarding in the Bhagavad-Gita in chapter 12, where Lord Krishna says that impersonal path is difficult to understand for those who are embodied. Why does he use the word embodied? Like, is it that those who are not embodied, it is easy for them, or it is just that it is just the way that it's translated?
Yeah, I mean, we're all embodied. Everyone in the material world is embodied. So you could say it's a polite way of saying it's difficult for you, instead of directly saying it's difficult for you. He says it's difficult for those who are embodied, which certainly includes you.
Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Narottam Das Thakur Das.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. Maharaj, my question is that sometimes in certain verses in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna refers to the Supreme God as in third person.
Yes.
Sometimes he says directly that surrender unto me and things like that. But sometimes he says that he refers to the God in third person. So why is that?
It's not uncommon that people do that. Like sometimes people will speak to me, or it could be anyone, but they speak to me in the second person, which is quite common, and sometimes they switch to the third person. They might say, "How are you?" Or they might say, "How is Maharaj?" meaning me. So, I mean, what I'm about to say now, I haven't really heard or read anywhere, but it's just my own thought that it grabs your attention more if Krishna sometimes speaks of himself in the first person, I, and sometimes in the third person, he. Surrender unto him, the super soul. Although in a way the super soul is Krishna, but in a way it's not fully Krishna. So when Krishna says surrender to him, the super soul, that also gives a hint that the super soul is not quite the same as Krishna. Yeah, it was a nice question.
Thank you, Maharaj.
And how is Narottam Das Thakur Das doing?
I'm doing very well, Maharaj. It's my winter break, so the boys from Krishna's, we've come for a little break to Georgia.
Oh, okay. Well, we look forward to having you out here in Carpinteria soon.
Yes, Maharaj, looking forward to visit. Thank you very much.
So we have Nanda Vrajadas.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Pranam. Maharaj, in this verse, Sarva Dharma Prityaja, the word Sarva Dharma has been translated as all varieties of religion. So I see it looks like why not Sarva Dharma as all variety of Dharma? Can you please comment on?
Sorry, can you repeat the last part? It's been translated as religion, yes. And then what were you saying?
I thought the word dharma may be more like duties or dharma instead of religion. So, so why this sort of translation?
Well, dharma can be translated either way, and but I think it's safer. It's a safer translation to say give up all varieties of religiousness and just surrender to Krishna, because someone might think, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Jew, I can't surrender unto Krishna. So Krishna says, give up all varieties of religion and just surrender to me. It doesn't matter what your religion is. If it was translated, give up all duties that would definitely require some explanation. So I think give up all varieties of religion is a safer translation, a better translation.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Sure. And Vishaka Gopi? Please unmute yourself, my dear Vishaka Gopi.
Sorry, Maharaj. Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances.
Sorry.
Maharaj, I've got a silly question. So when Krishna gave Arjuna the choice of picking himself or his army, then Arjuna picked Krishna, which clearly shows that Arjuna had faith on Krishna. But on the battlefield, why was Arjuna in doubt? Was it because he had seen his family, or was that a message for people like us? Because I know sometimes we have full faith in Krishna, but sometimes we do have doubts, or sometimes we might think we're not getting the fruit now, but later on we do get the fruit, but it takes time. So why, Arjuna being such an exalted devotee, why did he have doubts, or why didn't he just believe in Krishna or followed Krishna's instructions?
Yes, Arjuna had faith in Krishna, certainly, but it was a very, daunting situation to see his relatives and friends and teachers assembled on the battlefield before him. And Arjuna's compassion, Srila Prabhupada says two things about it. One is that Arjuna was a Vaishnava, so it was natural for him to feel compassionate. But ultimately, there was a higher consideration, which was Krishna's will, Krishna's order, Krishna's desire. And so Arjuna had so many, he was considering dharma, what is his duty? He was considering dharma in so many ways. And he was giving so many reasons why it would be bad to fight and to have the men folks killed and to have the women left without their husbands and protectors. But then ultimately, sarvadharman prityaja mamekam sharanam praja. He surrendered. Now, in your case, you are saying that as I understand, you're saying that you're following the process, but you don't always get the fruit immediately. And that point is addressed by Srila Rupa Goswami in the Upadeshamrita, which Srila Prabhupada gave us as the nectar of instruction. And so the first three requirements, there's six, but the first three requirements for success are utsaha, nischayat, daryat. So utsaha means enthusiasm, and daryat means patience. And Srila Prabhupada discusses this, that one should be patient. If there's some delay in getting the results, one should be patient. So maybe you need to be more patient. And Srila Prabhupada said both are required, enthusiasm and patience. He said, enthusiasm without patience can lead to a desire to control. And patience without enthusiasm can lead to lethargy, laziness. So we need both. And so, yeah, maybe you need to work on the patience part now.
Thank you so much, Maharaj. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. That question of, the two instructions, enthusiasm and patience, and focusing more on patience now. It reminds me of a sort of funny incident. It's not very deeply philosophical, but His Holiness Untitled Swami and I were invited for prasad at the home of a couple in South Africa. And the way they served the prasad was very tricky because we thought that the meal was coming to an end and then they'd bring something else. And then we think, oh, all right, well, that's the last preparation. All right, we'll have that. Then they bring something else. And I turned to Indradumna Swami and I said, what's going on? How are we going to manage? And he said, as Krishna says in the Bhagavad-Gita, one should not eat too much or eat too little. So today we're focusing on not eating too little. Hemagordi Dasi.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for such a wonderful lecture again. I have a question, I wanted to know what are the benefits of reading one chapter of Bhagavad-Gita or even one shloka of Bhagavad-Gita daily. And also, is it okay if somebody doesn't want to read the Sanskrit verse in Sanskrit, or is it okay if somebody just reads the translation and the purport?
Well, it's all good. The transliteration is the Sanskrit, the transliteration, and the translation and the purport, they're all good. And I would say that, if someone has more taste for the Sanskrit, that's okay. They can recite the Sanskrit. And if someone does not have so much taste for the Sanskrit, but they want to read the translations, that's okay. And they want to read the translations and purports, that's even better. It's all Krishna. Somehow or other, it's all Krishna. And I would encourage them. I mean, I asked Srila Prabhupada, this is, fairly early in 1971 in India. I'd been in ISKCON for about 2 years. And I asked him about reading. And he said, I can read wherever I have taste. There's no strict formula to read, such and such book first, or such and such portion first. Of course, in terms of general progression of the Shastras, Ishopanishad is more introductory than the Bhagavad-Gita, than the Nectar of Devotion, than Srimad Bhagavatam, and then Chaitanya Charitamrita. But, if someone wants to read any book or any part of any book, I think it's all good.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I don't see any new hand. Oh, Malati Dasi.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to your divine grace. Guru Maharaj just said that you read it right now that if one is envious, they cannot understand Bhagavad-Gita. But then we distribute Bhagavad-Gita to everyone, and we have seen that Bhagavad-Gita has made such a big impact in many lives, and they have come and joined ISKCON. But then first they must be envious. So how could they understand Bhagavad-Gita and they entered ISKCON?
Well, how do you know they're envious?
In the sense that if you are not as it is said that a devotee is never envious, but they are not yet devotees, they are in the process of devotion. So they must be having envy. It's just my speculation.
Yes. The preacher is described in Srimad Bhagavatam, the preacher, Prema Maitri Kripopeksha Sakaroti Samadhyama. Prema, he should give his love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Maitri, he should make friendship with devotees. Kripa, he should give mercy to the innocent. And upeksha, he should neglect the envious. So, you know, when we preach, we're addressing the innocent. You know, when we distribute books, we're giving the books to the innocent. And, you know, if someone were completely envious, they wouldn't take the book. So I think if they do take the book, we can conclude they're not envious, not completely envious. They're somewhat innocent, and so we're giving them mercy. Prema Maitri Kripopeksha.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. So I don't see any more hands raised. If we're going to conclude now, then I suggest we offer Vaishnava Pranam. Let us offer our respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord, who are just like desire trees who can fulfill the desires of everyone, and are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhya patijanam bhavetyo namo Vaishnava Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai.
His Holiness Giriraj Swami Maharaj ki. Maharaj, on behalf of ISKCON Auckland and all the devotees present in this forum, I would like to express our gratitude. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for joining us and enlivening us on the content of Srimad Bhagavad-Gita. You have very scrutinizingly picked up key verses from the Bhagavad-Gita and elaborated for our understanding. So thank you so much, Maharaj. And I'm sure that we all devotees present here and also those are listening on the Facebook will apply into our life, and which may help us in progress towards our devotional service and our service to Srila Prabhupada, who has given his entire life just to help us to get into Krishna's loka. So Maharaj, thank you so much. And we hope to see you again, Maharaj.
Jai, thank you. Thank you.
Just a small announcement to all the devotees who are present. You're most welcome to stay back. Actually, today we ISKCON Auckland are celebrating Gita Jayanti. And if you just pin Raspan Prabhu now, he's already online, and we have started reciting the shlokas from Bhagavad-Gita. So you are most welcome to stay in this forum. It's all up to you. And yeah, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Nanashro, if you can please pin Raspan Prabhu.
Oh, there's no sound.
I think they're having some technical issues, bro. I'll keep updating on that. So, yep.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopala Jaya Jaya 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 Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana